They say in parts of Nigeria, when someone becomes rich too quickly, the wise do not clap first. They watch. They whisper. They wonder what feeds that fortune. Because sudden wealth, without a clear origin, is a blessing with teeth. Some speak of spirits, powers that hide in the cracks of night, waiting for the greedy to call them. Among those spirits, none are feared like the serpent. This fear did not come from nowhere. It came from a man, a moment, a night that shaped the beliefs of a whole people. This is that story. Before fear made snakes the shadows of wealth, there was Ubahu, a quiet farming village beneath red earth and endless sky. Their leader, Chief Nkemakonam, may I not lack, was respected but never satisfied. His barns were full, but his heart always empty. He wanted more cattle, more land, more glory. He wanted to be remembered as the greatest man to ever touch the soil of Ubahu. One moon-thin night, a stranger came, tall, silent, wrapped in black cloth like someone who had stepped out of a grave. He asked for a place to rest. The chief agreed. But greed tightened the chief's tongue. You walk alone under the eye of night. What treasure drives your journey? The stranger smiled. That was the first warning. I know of a power that turns hunger into gold, a loyal spirit seeking a loyal master. Then the question that doomed a life. Do you desire wealth beyond the limits of men? The chief's own pride answered for him. In Igbo tradition, the snake is not merely an animal. It is the guardian of mysteries under the earth, a symbol of wealth buried deep, a messenger between this world and the unseen one. But some serpents are not messengers. They are consumers. And wealth that arrives without labor is often wealth that must be fed in the dark. The stranger handed him a clay pot. It trembled as if something inside was breathing, waiting. When the moon is darkest, the stranger said, open this beneath your bed, give it what it needs, and you will rise above all men. No cost was mentioned. No warning was given. Greed does not listen to danger anyway. That night, the chief opened the pot. A hiss, long and hollow, curled through the room like a cold wind. Then eyes emerged, golden, hungry. A serpent as black as the stranger's cloth slithered out. Its mouth opened, waiting. The chief understood. Blood. His hand shook, but ambition steadied the blade. He fed it from his own palm. The serpent drank until its tongue gleamed red. Then it vanished beneath the bed as silently as smoke. Chief Nkemakonam barely slept, heart racing between fear and anticipation. When morning came, he rushed outside and stopped breathing. Yams, goats, colorful cloth, cowries, piled high like a private miracle. Wealth had moved into his courtyard while he slept. He fell to his knees, laughing and crying all at once, a desperate release of every buried longing. All his life he begged the spirits to see him, to raise him above the ordinary. Now the evidence lay before him, bright and impossible. He thanked the gods, not knowing his gratitude was misplaced. He had not received a blessing, but a bond. As he reveled in his triumph, he noticed the stranger standing at the compound's edge, watching silently, like a judge. Before the chief could speak, the stranger turned, walking away into the forest without a farewell, without a blessing, without ever looking back. The chief watched him go and decided that joy was louder than suspicion. There is a teaching here. A farm that grows overnight is not a farm, but a sign. When wealth arrives too quickly to have a story behind it, it has a secret behind it instead. And secrets demand payment. Days passed, then weeks. Wealth multiplied like weeds in the rainy season. New compounds were built. Servants were hired. Chief Nkemakonam became the envy of kings. But every night, the serpent returned. And the cuts on his palm were not enough anymore. So he fed it a goat, then a cow, then a prized hunting dog. The serpent only grew larger, its hunger only deeper. Finally, the night came when it spoke. Its voice was dry as earth in drought. To keep your wealth, give me the wealth of your blood, your own. The chief's skin froze. His heart clawed inside his chest. He refused, or tried to refuse. But greed is a chain he had already locked around his own neck. Children's screams pierced the darkness. The chief's youngest son was missing from his mat. He tore apart the compound, searching like a mad animal. Then he heard it, a chewing sound, wet, slow, coming from beneath the bed. The serpent, now thicker than a man's waist, was swallowing what should never be eaten. The chief's scream shook the house. He stabbed, shouted, begged, but the demon slipped into the cracks, licking the air in satisfaction. The next morning, the boy's bones were found in a heap of grief. The village was no longer silent. They bound the chief, forced him to confess. Every word oozed from him like poison. The stranger, the pot, the serpent, the blood, the bargain. The elders burned every corner of his home, but could not burn the serpent. It escaped the flames and slithered into the depths of the earth, where fortune sleeps and demons hunger. The chief lived on, poor again, cursed, despised, with no son to call his name. He died with the shame of a man who bought greatness with the life he was meant to protect. That night did not stay in that village. It traveled by tongue, by firelight, by warning whispers to the young. Soon, everywhere, people saw a man grow wealthy without reason. They remembered Ubahu. They remembered the bones, the screams, the stranger, the serpent. And a question became a shield. Where did your wealth come from? Because in this land, wealth with no root in labor is wealth rooted in darkness. The serpent spirit still hunts for masters, still promises gold, still feeds on blood. They say if you look into the eyes of a man who keeps such a spirit, you will see a serpent coiled behind him, watching, waiting, hungry. This is why even today, people fear those whose riches appear from nowhere. Not all money is earned. Not all success is blessed. Some fortunes arrive dripping with the price of blood. And when a snake brings wealth to your door, one day it will come back to collect. More stories hide in the shadows of our traditions. If you want to hear them, subscribe to Carl the Griot. The next tale waits by the fire.